Hello YouTube, how's it going? I know this is a bit unconventional of how I do reviews. I usually put gameplay and provide commentary, but I don't want to spoil the game for anyone who's waiting for the physical edition of the game or just doesn't want to get the digital deluxe or wants to wait until the multiplayer is out. There are people out there who want to do that, so I'm not going to spoil as much as I can with this game. I'm not going to spoil any story details. I'm going to try and go through it mainly through gameplay elements. Now, there are 17 missions in total, and I played through the game, and I'm playing through Veteran right now. I'm up halfway through Veteran difficulty, but the thing is what I think about this campaign is it's very good. Like, I think they've done a stellar job in focusing why people loved Modern Warfare and focused more on the line of that. If you're expecting Call of Duty Cold War or Vanguard, I felt those were awful Call of Duty campaigns. I didn't like them, especially of how technically unstable they were. Like Call of Duty Vanguard was basically you playing through a Michael Bay version of World War II, and Call of Duty Cold War basically was just a mishmash of Call of Duty Black Ops 3 and Call of Duty Vanguard. That's how I felt about it. It had major technical problems from sound and graphical problems, not to mention the story was just, I thought the story was garbage. Again, all to their own. I know the Ackman in particular loved that game. Very eidetic. I love that guy. I think he does great videos, but I 100% disagree with him in that regard. Now, with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's structure, they basically combined the best elements of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2016, the Clean House mission, and interconnected it with many of the game's missions. It's usually during the first third of the game that you'll engage in a mixture of high-octane, big battles in combination with the Clean House mission. Basically, you'll be charged with clearing out different houses in order to progress. Now, some of these houses have you paired up with an NPC and you're clearing out different areas. Now, it's not as intense as Clean House where you're going slowly between room. In here, it's a little faster, and I kind of like the way they interpret the missions. Like, you're quick, you're on your feet, you have to be focused because at any time an NPC can grab a gun. Like in the first mission, let's just say a certain NPC you won't see coming grabs a gun and you have to take them out immediately. Now, as far as I can tell, there's no part where you can kill a civilian and just keep going with the mission because you kill a civilian, the game automatically ends. Now, the civilian NPCs are pretty stupid, so be careful about that. And mostly, I did enjoy the high-octane missions, which they tend to focus on the later half of the game. There are a lot of missions where you're doing, like, traditional Michael Bay craziness, jumping between cars, doing high explosive things, raiding prisons. It's good in that sense. Now, visually, the game looks stellar. Every Call of Duty game looks amazing, and this game is no different. The visuals, the sound effects, the guns, everything about the technical quality of this game is superb to a degree. Now, there are certain issues, like during my live stream, the mission, I won't spoil it, but there's a mission where you have to basically interact with a rope, and I kept thinking, why can't I interact with this rope? Am I doing something wrong? I looked up 2 walkthroughs, and I found out the mission was glitched, and the only way to restart it, to fix the issue, was to restart the entire mission. If I was playing on Veteran difficulty, you can guarantee I would be much more annoyed than I was then. It took me about 30 minutes before I just gave up, restarted the entire mission, and started to play again. It fixed it, but it was a problem. Thankfully, you can change the difficulty at any time, so I just switched it to Recruit, blasted through, got to that part, and switched it back to the standard difficulty. Now, the game does run pretty well. Other than that, no crashes, no issues. There is a nice mix of different gameplay elements. You do have an AC-130 mission. You have a mission where you're guiding an NPC through various checkpoints. But I do feel like a lot of the missions are extremely strict. Let's just say there are a lot of sneak-in missions in this game. Not as much as, say, actually, Call of Duty Modern Warfare only had one sneak-in mission that was heavily focused on that. For the most part, you can go loud or you can go quiet. But there is one mission where it's predominantly sneak-in, and I hated it. Honestly, I just went into a room, took out my shotgun, and just waited for the NPCs to come in and shot them one at a time. They are a bit more tactical, as they did use flashbangs, and sometimes they would actually flank my position, which is pretty impressive, but their flashlights gave away, so I would just, shoot one, go back into the room, shoot another, and by the end, it was just a pile of bodies everywhere. It's basically the meme with Altair. It's stealth as long as there's no witnesses. I know I'm misinterpreted, but you know what I mean. So I kind of hope that Call of Duty would go away from stealth and more focus on the clean house types of missions. I know I keep going back to that mission, but it's such an iconic mission within the Call of Duty franchise now. I would rather have that than the sneak-in mission. They also include Guerrilla Warfare into the game, where you get supplies and you have to build stuff, and you actually see your character building things, which is cool. But again, it's just very tedious and kind of annoying, because at first it's a fun mechanic, gather supplies, build things, and use them in guerrilla warfare. The problem is, like I said, it mixes together the stealth elements, and stealth in this game is not great. Like, when you mix together stealth and high action, you have to do it very, very well. It has to be it has to be executed in such a incredibly precise way. Like Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, to me that is the pinnacle of combining both first-person combat and sneaking elements. They did both fantastically. And here it just feels very limited, like you're forced to sneak with half the talents that you should have. So yeah, it's not that great. So again, I just decided, you know what, screw it. I'm going to kill everything. I'm not sure how it's going to work on veteran. Pretty sure I have to engage in that stuff, because during that mission you are limited on your armor and health options. But another option that they added into the game, and this is more for, I would argue, for artificial difficulty, is that enemies sometimes come with armor. Now, it's not like the juggernauts from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, the original game. Pretty sure there's going to be after this one's going to be Modern Warfare 3. Like, maybe after the third installment. Like, it's going to be one installment for Call of Duty, then another, then it's going to be Modern Warfare 3. They usually go in that cycle. But it's basically just enemies with armor, like Warzone. They just put plates in, and yeah, you just shoot them. And I felt like that was, at first it seemed cool, mix that together with the regular enemies, but eventually you have to fight so many of them. Like, they literally are every single enemy. Like, it's like basically Back for Blood, where the special infected are everywhere, so they're not really special infected. So I felt like they should have limited those types of enemies so they're more special. Like, you say, oh my god, there's an armored enemy coming towards me. You can take them out with a single shot if you're really good with a sniper rifle, but still, it gets very annoying when almost half the enemies, heck, I would even say maybe 3/4 of the enemies have this heavy armor on, and you're given the option to do this, but only for very specific missions where you can actually put armor on. So I was just like, why don't I have that option? It just seems logical in that. In terms of the narrative, I know I said I wouldn't spoil it, and I'm not going to spoil it. It's your standard Call of Duty. Like, if you've played any Call of Duty ever, you'll predict what's going to happen. It's so cliche in that sense that you're just going to be like, okay, this happened, then that happened, then the finale happened. I know that seems very vague, as it's supposed to be, but again, if you're a veteran Call of Duty fan like me, I am a veteran fan, I saw everything coming from the beginning. Like, basically, I've been playing Call of Duty since Call of Duty 4. I've played the originals as well, Call of Duty 1, 2, Big Red 1, which is number 3. And yeah, the story's writing is standard, fair, nothing spectacular about it. It is what it is. It's your basic military shooter. Really, what comes from the game is the intensity, the action, that adrenaline-filled desire to just keep going forward. I would say they did Ghost justice. Like, as someone who loved Ghost from the original Call of Duty games, they did do him justice here. Same thing for Soap. Soap is fantastic here. And yeah, the missions are well paced, with the exception of one mission. It's a convoy mission where I felt like I wanted to tear my hair out and just wanted to be done with it, because it just stretches forever. Basically, the mission just says get to the front of the convoy, and you just keep doing it, and they just keep putting, it's basically they keep putting your princesses in another castle. They put another barrier, then another barrier, then another barrier. Other than that mission and the one that glitched out for me, yeah, well-paced campaign, very good, solid execution, and the characters were good. It's not a Call of Duty Vanguard monstrosity where everyone's trying to be like funny and being like, I kill Nazis, that's what I am. It's a bit more serious in how they undertake everything that's going on, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. For a Call of Duty fan, very well done, very well put together. So I would recommend it if you want the campaign. I play this game for the campaigns now. I usually play multiplayer for like maybe a day or two before I get bored of it and then say yeah to another thing. So that's my review on it. Tell me what you think of this style of reviewing when I'm just like, screw it, let me just do the Asmongold thing. Sorry about my hair and my voice and my stuttering. I'm like sick, very sick. I don't have the coof or anything. I'm just like sore throat and very lightheaded. Thank God I don't have the coof. It's just like flu medication on top of everything. Hopefully it's not the flu, but don't want to risk that. Either way, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the campaign. Tell me what you thought about the campaign if you played it. Please, no spoilers. I don't want to be that guy anymore. I'm probably going to put, like, stuff online, but we'll see. Yeah. Bye.